When it comes to real estate, we're all sold on a dream, right? Passive income, financial freedom. But what if that dream is actually a carefully built illusion? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one-room apartment investing, and we're using some serious insider insights to do it. Right, and as you can see here, we're following that advice. No greetings, no preamble. We're jumping straight in because there's a fundamental misunderstanding at the very heart of this market, and that's exactly where we need to start. You see, to really get what one-room investing is all about, you have to understand its true nature, the part that the glossy sales pitch always leaves out. So let's kick things off with that first piece of advice everyone gets. You know, the one simple trick that's supposed to be your golden ticket to not losing money. First, look at the used transaction prices. Sound familiar? It sounds so logical, doesn't it? It's always presented as this ironclad, foolproof way to protect yourself. And honestly, why would you question it? It makes perfect sense on the surface. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. That advice, it isn't wrong. It's just dangerously incomplete. It's not a doorway to safety. It's more like the first step you take into a very dense jungle filled with hidden traps. And that jungle brings us to the real question at the core of this whole thing. What are you actually buying here? Are you buying an investment, or are you buying something else entirely? This is the moment where we have to reframe everything. You're not buying a passive financial product like a stock or a bond. No, you are buying an active business operation. The source material calls it lightweight management. And from the second you sign those papers, you're not an investor anymore. You're a manager. So what does being a manager actually mean? Well, it means you, yes you, are suddenly the center of this complicated web. You're being pulled in a dozen different directions. You're dealing with a building that's literally falling apart over time, your tenants, and a whole host of vendors who are all laser-focused on maximizing their own profits, usually right out of your pocket. And this isn't just any management gig. The source calls it the triple suffering. First, your scale is tiny, so you have zero leverage. Second, the profit margins are razor thin. And third, and this is the killer, you can't delegate the most important part of the job, being vigilant. You are, for all intents and purposes, completely stuck. Okay, so if this is a management job, what kind of person does it take to actually succeed? This is where the reality of it all gets, well, pretty intense. This quote from the source is just brutally honest. It's the hidden internal monologue of every successful landlord. It's a state of constant, relentless vigilance. I'm always watching, but you have to cloak it in mild words and a smile. And notice that last part, this isn't for a little while, it's for the rest of your life. So the person who wins at this game is a walking contradiction. You have to be deeply suspicious of everyone and everything, but you can never let it show. You have to be polite, calm, and friendly so you don't burn any bridges. It's a social high-wire act that requires an incredible amount of skill, and you have to keep it up for decades. All of this, the management, the personality, it all builds up to the core flaw in the entire business model. There is a fundamental contradiction baked into the very heart of one-room apartment investing. Just look at the comparison on this slide. It lays it all out. On the left, that's the sales pitch. You don't have to do a thing, it's all taken care of, total hands-off income. But on the right, that's the reality, a system that is literally designed to punish the person who does nothing, a system where costs will quietly eat you alive if you're not watching like a hawk. And here it is. This is the structural contradiction. The product is marketed and sold to people who want one thing, a set-it-and-forget-it investment. But the only person who can actually succeed with this product is their polar opposite, a hands-on, deeply skeptical, constantly involved manager. The target customer is, by their very nature, perfectly designed to fail. Which, of course, leads to the one glaringly obvious question. If this is the cold, hard reality of the business, why does nobody ever tell you this when they're trying to sell it to you? I mean, think about it for a second. Why on earth would a salesperson leave out the most critical information that their customer needs to succeed? The answer? Well, it's as simple as it is cynical. Plain and simple. Because the truth is unsellable. Imagine if the sales brochure was honest. Imagine if it actually described the real job of being a landlord, the constant worry, the skepticism, the active management. Who in their right mind would sign up for that? Look at this breakdown. The keywords they use in marketing: passive income, trust us, pension alternative, they are the exact opposite of the truth. You can't sell something as passive if you have to describe all the active work. You can't tell someone to trust us if the key to success is to trust no one. Selling the reality would completely destroy the sales pitch. And this brings us to the source's final, chilling summary of the whole business. It is a product that is legal, insufficiently explained, and quietly wears people down. Let that sink in. Nothing about this is technically illegal. It's just a system, a perfectly legal system designed to slowly, quietly grind an owner's finances and their spirit into dust. So, the big takeaway here isn't about blaming greedy sellers or naive buyers. It's about a fundamentally broken system. This entire analysis, when you boil it all down, is the weary sigh of an insider who sees that fatal flaw. And it really just leaves you with one final, unsettling thought. As long as that sigh goes unheard, what's ever going to change?